You know, today is actually December 11th. I had to look at my clock there because I don't know the date at all. I'm Solid Jake. I'm joined by Sia Steve, and we've got a special guest today. But before we get to him, Sia Steve, what's going up with you, man? What's going on with you?
Not much. Excited to see all the stuff that's coming out this weekend. I've been crazy busy with all kinds of tournament stuff, so it's good. Everything's kind of rolling into place now. ESL's kicking off, Kings is kicking off. I don't know, all kinds of fun drama and balance changes all over the place. So it's been a busy week for Heroes. I've been busy, and busy is good. Busy better than bored. So that's my story. I'm glad that we're here again for another week.
Yeah, for sure. Well, we are here again, and we're here with Mr. FourCourtJester. And Jester, why don't you introduce yourself?
If you don't know, yeah, Sean Delaney, FourCourtJester, been doing casting for a long while. I'm one of the big guys over at Heroes Fire as well. If you've ever used the talent calculator, the guides, thank you so much. You guys are awesome. And kind of been doing some feedback work now with Hero GG, one of our new sites launched for replays. So been keeping busy here with the Heroes. Not only did we do Kings of the Storm last weekend, but ESONA, and now I'm getting geared up for a repeat of the performance this weekend as well. You guys keep us busy, man.
Busy indeed. Well, today we want to ask you a lot about the things you just mentioned. Pretty much everything you just mentioned. Your things as a caster, Heroes Fire, Hero.gg. Sure. Matthew, where would you like to start?
Well, you mentioned Heroes Fire, but you didn't mention what you actually do there. So we can start there and just take it away.
Oh, lots of things. If you take a quick look at the wiki that we built, not only will you see I have something like 5,000 edits on it over the last year or so. Definitely the #1 in terms of that. But I do a lot of the tool development there, feature requests, and so the talent calculator was a feature of love. Our wiki base has been definitely going through improvements. I've actually been working on a few visual improvements for it. Coming up fairly soon, so you guys are going to see a lot of that. And the guide system, we do a lot of curating. We feature a lot of guides out of that, and it's just an overall great place to be in terms of Heroes of the Storm. It's up to the date. It's a lot of cultivation of the user, dedication to the game, a lot of user effort in their guides and all that, and it's just pays the bills. It's fun. It's great.
Pays the bills.
That's the best part.
And yeah, it's I just spend a lot of time there.
All right, cool. And one thing that I want to shout out to you, actually, but so that the community knows, whenever there's a patch that changes or anything comes in, I'm immediately yelling at you, like, yo, you have to go do work. And you're like, oh, fine, all right, I guess I'll go do it. So if you ever see anything on the calculator for Heroes Fire, definitely check that out. And it's mostly thanks to this guy, so give him some props. So real quick, I'm going to actually transition this right into casting. Now,
sure.
What I just said, you do so much work with the calculator, you have so many stats at your disposal. Does that carry over really well for you in casting, or is it just kind of like you've done it for so long? I know you have a background in League too. You've done this all for so long. Is it natural at this point?
Any MOBA at this point that I pick up, or any strategy game, is just like you see a lot of similarities in others. I've been actually going back to Awesome Knots this week because I'm gearing up for some casting there.
Nice.
And it's just like body blocking scenarios come into so many effects, and I'm just so much more used to it now because of Heroes of the Storm. It's just like, body block, count off the damage, block them, get the damage, just rinse, repeat. I don't remember being that focused about it, a year ago when I played it. So there's a lot of similarities. A lot of the games do transfer in, but because I get to play around with a lot of the stats, manipulate a lot of the pages, it said 5,000 edits and counting, rip my life. It's, a lot of that does ingrain. So, like, you go through character select, you go through draft, you go through the game. I have a lot of numbers that fly through my head just because I work with them almost on a daily basis now. So I think that does help. The names of the talents, the names of the abilities, the names of the heroes, a lot of the mechanics, just a lot of that is now almost second nature to me, mostly because of the work with the site.
Cool.
Yeah, I mean, that's really cool, and that makes a lot of sense, and it's almost like you said, an advantage as a caster because you're working so closely with all this information about the game that you have all these numbers stuck in your head, and there's a lot of synergy there. Well, another game, or another site rather, that works with the game, that is brand new here for the Heroes community is Hero.gg. Now, Hero.gg has a different kind of utility, where Kumi's kitty is now attacking me. Say hello, kitty. And a different kind of utility where Players can see the talents they use in each and every game. Players can see all different kinds of stats. Tell us a little bit about how this came to be.
So Hero.gg has been kind of a labor of love. If anybody was at BlizzCon, you would have met a guy that I was hanging out a lot with, Mr. Dan Bagels. And Bagels, we hooked up with him before BlizzCon and just like, we want to do a replay site. And he's like, oh, all right, I do a lot of replay stuff. It's like, well, that's just amazing. And basically, we've kind of formed a partnership right there, and we've been hammering away at replays ever since. And finally, we came to the point in the beta where we're like, we kind of need a lot more replays, and we kind of need to start stress testing stuff. So we said, all right, out it goes. And we did the release, and hundreds of thousands of replays in less than 2 days. You guys have effectively killed the site, which is fantastic. Congratulations, guys. I can't share with you the specific numbers, but it is hundreds of thousands of replays have now been submitted. And the stuff that has worked has done well. We got talent parsing per replay. We amalgamate your win rates with heroes on maps per role. With others, I think is something that we've started with now as well. So it's just like you'll be able to look at, how well are you doing with CST? How well are you doing with Jake? How well are you doing just by yourself? There's a lot of data that we can now bring into this, and I can see it on the preview there. The UI has been just absolutely fantastic watching it through its iterations all the way up to release. And we have a lot of work left on it. There's still a lot of bugs. It is beta, but just a lot of the feedback that's now been coming through it, a lot of the things that people want to see. We have support forums that have just now, like the activity box on Heroes Fire is now literally just all about Heroes GG. I don't get any more bug reports or things that says that the wiki is out of date. No, it's all about Heroes GG now because we've been putting a lot of work into this, and it's come out very well, and the community seems to really be embracing it, which is fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, it's awesome. It's an awesome tool, and it's something we've been looking for a while. It's something that a lot of other games, as you said, you're involved within a lot of other things. So like you look at Dota, you look at League, those things have crazy just back-end data that you can pull from all kinds of API wonderfulness. And so we're finally getting into that realm here, and it's really cool. Now, Heroes is going into closed beta on January 13th, and it's a lot of stuff that they've already talked about, saying, teams, rank queues, stuff like that. And obviously, I mean, you don't have access to that stuff right now, but is that something that's in plans for Hero.gg? Are we going to be seeing like rank specific things, team specific things? I know you touched a little bit on playing with certain friends, but is that a main focus, or is that just kind of a side thing? What's the goal?
Well, we've already had to kind of revise a little bit in terms of what actually gets parsed or what should be parsed. Custom games, for example. I mean, replay's a replay. It doesn't matter if it's versus or custom. Some of the pros were a little annoyed at that, so we did patch that up. But going forward into the rank thing, whatever replays, whatever gets embedded in replays, we're going to be able to just kind of get in there and look around. So if it carries forth team data, why not? We could set up easily a team league for your MMR. I mean, a lot of people really like eMMR. It's a nice measuring device, I suppose, but hey, each to their own. So yeah, team data, duos, trios, quads. I mean, there's whatever comes forth with this ranking system, and probably it is going to be embedding your rank in it at some point or another. We'll just keep evolving the site. If people want to start seeing that, we'll look into it. If people want to start seeing a specific stats or different algorithms or different displays of those stats, those are what the forums are right now. We want to know what you guys want to see out there. And anything that comes down the line, it's all fair game.
Okay. Jake, do you want to go?
I was just going to say, like, I would want to ask for features, but you guys already have more than I would have even thought would be possible. So I'm gonna avoid asking features there. But
Bagels is a god when it comes to wielding that replay, whatever surgical knife of whatever he uses to get into that. Like, he has found so much in these replays. It's astounding.
Yeah. Special, definitely special shout out to him, because I've been talking to him about it for a long time, and we're I don't know, Jake, you're not computer science, right?
No,
I don't think you are.
No,
yeah,
I'm just a web design major. I'm the dumb one here.
Oh, I see. Okay, but I talked to Bagels about it, and some of the things that we talked about, I was like, wow, there's a lot of stuff you have to go through to get what you're trying to do. And he's like, yep. It's a lot of work. And I was like, okay, well, you know what? Props to you for that. So
just
real
real quick, if
go.
you guys want to give 8bagels a shout out, just go to 8bagels at Twitter. It's actually at Dan Langford. He's 8bagels. He's the guy who really kind of started all of this that we have for Hero.gg. He was the guy that started this journey here that is now a huge tool for our community.
So
it's going to be fun.
it's already fun. So what for users that are coming in? Obviously, there's going to be people requesting things from the site. What's the best way for them to do that? Is that like a forum thing? Is that email? What's your desired protocol? We'll call it.
I can actually get you a link, but essentially it's going to be going over to heroesfire.com, and if you go to our community forum section, we do have a dedicated spot there called HeroGG. You can do some discussion there, support and suggestions. I'm getting you the link right now, Mr. Jake, right there, if you want to take a quick gander at it. But we are going to be amalgamating everything into the Heroes Fire forum section because a lot of people that use our site are probably going to be using HeroGG. So there's a lot of cross-pollination, and here as well we can just keep everything under wraps and just leave the HeroGG servers to kind of keep chugging away at those replay counts because again, hundreds of thousands of replays. It's no joke that we have to keep working away at that, optimizing and bringing things more parity so that we're out of beta, hopefully in good time.
The production today is a struggle.
No, it's godly. It's fine. It's
a struggle.
Is that brightening again?
It's all good. So I know Jester, we've talked a couple of times about this, but so we have the front-facing tool of HeroGG, right? Like that exists, it's a thing, and it's awesome. We've already talked about that a bunch on the show today. What are the other plans? I mean, we have esports growing in the scene right now. We have a bunch of tournaments. You're involved heavily in tournaments. Is there anything that you are looking to do with the site going forward that you can reveal now, or is it just something kind of on the back burner?
There's a lot of features now that the data's there. There's a lot of features I personally want to get my claws into to develop for esports, to develop for casting. Because how cool would it be to see, stats provided by Heroes Fire, stats provided by HeroGG, and like at the end of a match, instantly just have the talent recap, the kills, the deaths, a real end of game screen, so to speak. Because alpha is alpha. No hate to Blizzard, but it's not obviously a high priority for them. Why not make that? So I mean, I have been putting forth a few suggestions. I'd love to start getting my hands into that. I don't have any ETA, any confirmations in terms of what we will make, but you can be sure that I'm definitely bugging them about it.
Cool. And one thing that I'll note, this isn't really relative to what we're doing right now, but a lot of Blizzard's one of the companies that will take things from not from the community, but they'll look at what the community is doing and say, oh, hey, they actually did this. Why can't we just do that? And then they'll take it and they'll bring it into their product and make it better. So I like it that people are doing this already. They're already pushing the envelope for Heroes, and it's only going to get better for me. So I'm very excited to see what we have going forward. And I mean, you guys are leading the pack, so it's a cool time.
So eMMR is something you mentioned, and as the game evolves, we're going to see an actual MMR system put into place by Blizzard. Like they're going to have their own MMR system that's built in. You're going to have an actual rank. MMR is currently one of the many draws of Hero.gg. Is it still going to be something that exists once the actual Blizzard MMR comes out? Is it something that's going to phase out? Like, what's the plan with that?
Right now, it's literally just there to help give people a sense of where they land with a lot of others. I mean, it's not going to be a pure stat. It's not something that you should really be putting 100% of your trust into because people can manipulate it. I mean, we've seen this before on other sites. You only upload your wins, or you only have other people report your games.
Yep.
So there have been some thoughts about what exactly to do with the eMMR, but in terms of just as a generalized stat, it should just be a number that loosely translates based upon your data where everything kind of ends up. It is manipulable. It's not the end all. When Blizzard comes out with their ranks, we're obviously going to be looking at replays. If they store rank data, we might just scrap it. We might keep it. A lot of people are very interested in it, but at the same time, a lot of people are just not interested or they absolutely despise it. We don't have a user system, as you might note. You just literally upload your replays and you go at it. So if we do build that out, we can start looking at features like flags, hide my MMR, or don't count me and don't count any game I don't upload. These are things that have already been suggested in our forums in terms of improvements or suggestions, because some people, they absolutely hate it. Some people, they absolutely love it. It's going to be really hard to cater to both. I don't think the stat's going to go anywhere for now, but it will be basically under supervision here on out.
Cool. Okay. Well, Matt, anything else on that topic?
Not really on MMR. I mean, it's kind of it's a tough topic to cover in general. It's always back and forth.
It's a number you should take with a grain of salt. I've said that about other sites. I've said that about Blizzard's MMRs. We don't have a big player pool. There's a lot of manipulation that can happen, especially in alpha. It's just a number, guys.
Yeah. So, I guess kind of in that regard to manipulation, how are you guys ramping up for the wonderful 15 times number that Blizzard tossed around at BlizzCon, where there's going to be so many users? And I mean, we've seen it over and over in many games. Like, people love looking at MMR. They love throwing whatever stats they can around. So guaranteed Heroes GG is going to get hit. How are you guys ramping up for that?
I think we're going to need to buy more servers.
It's probably a good start.
As I said, the initial response was just absolutely overwhelming. And if I had to choose between crippling amount of traffic or no traffic, I'll clearly take crippling. Brings its own issues, but at least people are using the site. So yeah, I mean, we're definitely going to be looking at optimization. We're going to be looking at server capacity, because if 15 times more people are going to start potentially looking at the site, we're going to have to definitely do some work there. But other than that, bring it on. Like, we are absolutely thrilled to take all these replays, because the more replays we have, the more cases that we can identify for bugs, for errors, for issues, and the more we get to play around with the data. So bring it on.
Okay.
Sounds good. Well, that's Hero.gg, and that's Heroes Fire. Two big tools you can use. If you guys are new, you guys don't know much about the Heroes of the Storm community, both tools you can use to improve your game and find other builds for your hero. Look at that promotion I'm giving you guys. You don't need it, though. You don't need it, and that's the best part.
Slick Jake GG.
So moving on, you're also a Heroes caster, and you've actually been casting you mentioned Awesome Knots. You've done pretty much every single MOBA
out list
there.
Them all?
Yeah, yes, I do, actually.
All right. Started Heroes of New Earth. When that died, went to League of Legends. During that, I dabbled in StarCraft 2, Bloodline Champions, and which, weirdly enough, people still recognize me from. It's actually rather crazy. Fantastic game, way ahead of its time. Different story. Past that, though, Awesome Knots, Dota 2, and Heroes of New Earth. They made a second game called Strife, which I haven't really been able to cast, but definitely been playing it. They have some great ideas out there. Dawngate was a game that I absolutely loved, but they never really got around to casting tools, which is unfortunate. And right now, Heroes of the Storm is basically taking up a lot of my attention. And that's, I think, my entire resume on paper.
It's a lot. It's more than me.
Been around a while, 5 years now.
Yeah, I've got Heroes of the Storm and Heroes of the Storm. Well,
see, Steve and I at least go back to LoL days.
we go back to the good old TSM days. Fun times. Yep. So how do you like casting heroes? Is this something that you
an amazing
really
game? Well, for League of Legends, there was a guilty pleasure of mine called Dominion. And I used to run a lot of tournaments with the Dominate Dominion community, rest in peace, where we would literally just do Dominion. High meta Dominion is absolutely bonkers to cast. It was amazing. It was fun. Made a lot of connections there. But as well, it's just the style of gameplay. Objectives. It's not all about items. It's not all about money. It's not all about laning. It's about getting those objectives. It's about wandering in groups, finding the weak points, striking strategically. I really enjoy that gameplay. And when Heroes of the Storm came out, and it's not just a MOBA, it's all about the brawl, it's all about the objectives, I was there, man. I was sold right there.
Yeah, that sounds pretty akin to it. I know, Jake, you don't have that background, but it's pretty much straight up one-to-one translation. So I definitely
I didn't
that.
play League and Dota for a reason, and I play Hero for. I tried to play League, just couldn't get into it. So
I see people all the time tweeting about how it's their first MOBA and they absolutely love it. And I think as a gateway MOBA, we saw this with Dota to LoL. LoL was easier. It was so much easier to get into. There's less mechanics to deal with. And sometimes people would leave it for Dota. Sometimes people would quit Dota and come to LoL. This is kind of just another transition almost for the newbies, because there's less to deal with, but there's different strategies. But if you want to get more complicated, upgrade. Go to LoL. If you want to get more upgraded, go to Strife. Go to Dawngate. Well, I guess you can't anymore.
Well,
but go to Dota 2. I think as a gateway MOBA, this is a fantastic choice.
So Stib has a pretty good question in the chat. It says, Sean, HOTS will probably be the first MOBA that brings LoL and Dota 2 players together. What game do you think will have the biggest advantage and why?
Those two compared to here?
In Heroes, like a League player and a Dota player playing Heroes for the first time, who is going to be more adapted? Like, which game do you think's more relative to Heroes?
A LoL Dominion player would probably be head and shoulders above, but in terms of that,
4 of those.
yeah, thanks. Steve, yeah, as I said, Rip, dominate Dominion. I don't know of any Dominion tournaments anymore, which is a shame. But to address the question, though, I mean, I'm not really too sure I would give advantage one over the other because they both do focus heavily on laning, on items, and counter picks. So the only things you can really take out of that is if you've played in 5s before, not just solo queue, but 5s, where you can create your team, you have some bans. I think those are going to be the bigger aspects. It really depends on how much the player has really done in those games. If you've done Dota 2 tournaments, then you know about the picking, counter picking, the bans. I think that's fantastic. You'll take a lot from it. LoL, in the challenger modes and the 5v5s and all that, sure, same kind of thing. Past that, not really much that's applicable.
Yeah, I can kind of see that. For me, I lean a little bit closer to League, just because Dota is so, I don't want to say polar, but
Bigger?
I mean, it relies, it relies on a lot of very intense mechanical plays and very heavy carrying. Like hardcore late game carries exist in Dota, and they don't really in Heroes. So I feel like a lot of Dota players come in expecting to see that kind of stuff, and then they're like, "Oh, it's not here." And
Clearly,
League,
he
you
never
kind
played
of,
Sergeant Hammer then.
yeah, I know, right? She's such a carry, in the fact that you have to carry her to victory. I don't know. I think everything else you said is pretty much exactly on point. It's definitely team play is what's the most important part of Heroes.
If you've played with a team, you know how to communicate with a team, you know how to deal with pings and objectives, and you don't just blindly tunnel stuff. You'll find a good time here. But if you want to take the Shadow Fiend to 30 minutes with everything under your belt, this ain't going to be the game for you.
It's just one-shot ultimates, fantastic.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah,
oh man, I miss those so much. Okay, is there another chat question you want to go to, Jake?
No, let's transition to some more relevant news that we have in the community right now. Something new was just added into the game, and that is stim packs. Now, this is something that's existed in other games for a very long time. Essentially, stim packs are a real money purchase that increases the amount of experience and gold you get in the game. It's $3.99 US dollars. I don't know the global pricing, but it's $3.99 US for 7 days and $9.99 for 30 days on your account to get you 100% bonus experience and 150% bonus gold. Sean, you've seen this in other games. What are your overall thoughts on it?
Does not affect me one way or another. I mean, I've never bought IP boosts. I've never bought... Dota doesn't even have anything close to that.
Well, yeah, Dota. Yeah, you're right.
So let's go back to LoL. I've never bought IP boosts. I've never seen the point. I play the game because I like to play it, not because I'm trying to hit an objective. Which is funny because that's what the game is, right? But so stim packs, I mean, as a whole, people want to buy them. All the more power to them. If they don't, there's no penalty. Like when they announced it, there was so many conflicting opinions.
Segueing on that point, though, how do you feel about the current gold game in Heroes of the Storm?
It's a loaded question, but I could stand for it being a bit more. I could stand for it to be a bit more.
So if
overall, I don't think it's terrible, not nearly as what people are making it out to be. But that's me.
With the stim pack, if you win a game, you get 75 gold. Without it, you get 40 gold.
It's a difference. It's a big difference.
30.
Well, it's almost double,
40.
actually.
It's 40 now.
Yeah.
30.
It's 40 now.
Did they buff it?
Oh, they nerfed it. It used to be 40. Now it's 30.
Yeah, it used to be 40.
I'm not good at math. Jake and math are just, it's not a thing that happens.
Worst.
Used to be 40, then they used to be what, 10 and 40.
It used to be 40, 10,
and then they
they were
changed
like,
it to
hey,
20,
we'll
30.
change it.
So they actually effectively nerfed it if you're doing well, and now they have stim packs, but
yeah.
I'm not sure having it duration based is the best call, to be honest, because you do have that pressure of, okay, I bought a stim pack, And now it's like when you're paying for an MMO and you're not playing, right? You're wasting your money, so to speak. You could be earning stuff. You could be doing things with that duration based. So not really a fan of that. But as I said, I'm not really going to buy them. For newer players, though, to get into it, to start off, like have a generation, I highly suspect we're going to be able to gift fairly soon. Probably not this year, but like, you know, sometime in beta, there will probably be a gifting option. I think stim packs would be a great gift for getting your friends in the game.
Yeah, you're right.
But I don't personally plan to use them.
Yeah, gifting is something that doesn't even exist on Battle.net in general. I think you can gift on Battle if you purchase on Battle.net for World of Warcraft. I think you might be able to.
But what would you gift them?
You can gift like pets,
like a pet or a mount or something, or a transfer. So I think you can do that. But beyond, I mean, so the functionality might exist. I'm not 100% sure on that. But Hearthstone, you can't give someone booster packs. So that's
they would make so much money. Oh my god!
And it's something that's been
they
requested.
Would just print money.
Yeah, I mean,
GVG is printing the money as is.
So. Yeah, they would be like, oh man, they would just laugh at like Bill Gates. They'd be like, ha, good joke.
Good joke.
Oh man,
Microsoft, who invented that? Idiot! They should have made Hearthstone. Yeah, that's the logic. So, okay, so yeah, gifting, that might be a thing in the future.
I mean, the bottom line is, if people want to use them, they should use them. It should not matter what any other person says about stim packs. If you want to use them, you should use them.
All for it, and Gold Gain might need a boost. Okay.
So before we jump off stim packs, there's one. I don't know. It's not really a theory, but it's just something that somebody put forward. In that, it's something we've seen. We saw it a little bit in League. I don't know how much you saw it, but there's people who will buy IP boosts, and especially when they're on a per game basis, and they'll just start getting really angry because if you don't win, you're now spending money and not getting the quote unquote full value out of what you spent your money on, and it tends to create this kind of more aggressive environment. Yeah. And that's something that a lot of people are worried about. Now, I'm not too worried about that per se, but is that something that, I mean, we have experience doing this. So, like, is that something that you see coming into Heroes, or do you think it's not going to be that big of a deal?
For solo queue, I can imagine the free week Illidan's that buy stim packs to get through it all, and yeah, I can see the rage. But I mean, that's the player's decision to kind of bring that toxicity to the match. If he was going to win with or without the stim pack shouldn't be, a decision on when or if you should win. I mean, you should still play as normal. It's just if you win, you now have the stim pack bonus. That's my approach to it. Others are not going to take that, but that is a poor reflection on the player if they actually are going to bring that into solo queue. If they're going to bring that toxicity into it, then I'm not too sure that they'd ever make it to my friends list.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
That's a good response. Well, beyond that, I think the other big thing, I mean, the patch is kind of old news. The patch we have is kind of old news, but on the horizon, the Jaina patch. It's been a few weeks now, but we got a lot of stuff coming. Now the beta is only a few weeks away, and at BlizzCon. 4 weeks. 4 weeks, Matthew's saying. At BlizzCon, we got confirmation of a bunch of things on the horizon. Now, we know Thrall, Lost Vikings, the new map, Sky Temple, Draft Mode, and are all pretty much on the horizon, and then Sylvanas and a few other things a little bit further off. What do you think will be included in the actual beta? Do you think that we will see Draft right away?
I'm pretty sure that was a promise.
Was it?
I'm pretty sure January 13th was a promise for drafting. The level 30, the level 40, Thrall.
That was promised? Okay, my stream was actually yelling at me saying it was, and then I asked them to confirm, and they said, no, we can't find the confirmation. So I'm like, you know what?
Stream with these guys.
You baited them and outsmarted them. I'm proud of you.
Well, I just got wrecked. But
so that's the thing. That's coming.
That's good. That's good. So you expect that good prediction?
They haven't. Yeah, right. Good answer. The one thing they haven't confirmed is if draft is going to be in custom or not. And they talked about it like it was going to be at BlizzCon, and then a couple of people. I mean, I can imagine that it's not going to be there because what they said at BlizzCon was that they were trying to get it to be almost fully customizable, and you and I both know that that's not the easiest thing to do. And Blizzard doesn't like to release things that are
Not polished.
clearly broken.
Especially with a beta. Like the alpha,
right.
they've been a little bit more lenient. They've
Right.
been like a little, happy to just give us like, okay, here's a spectator client that's bare bones, and they gave us that because they knew that was a tool that was worth it because it's the alpha. They're just like, here you go.
I think they gave it to us because we were already using it.
Well, yeah, we were casting from replay, so they're like, well,
They're like, well, we should probably just like do this because
Yeah.
it looks really bad right now. But so that happened. But yeah, I mean, it is still closed beta, but it is going to have a ton of people in it. That's really exciting. And I get to be one of the lucky few to go to PAX South and see what they decide to put out right after
When
closed
is
beta
that?
happens. PAX
January?
South is January 23rd, I think.
Damn.
So about a full week after the patch drops.
please bring
So-
me. Bring me.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's still pretty cheap if you want to go. I think there's actually still tickets left open because it's the first time it's going to PAX South. So I think they still have stuff. But that'll be really cool, and I'll definitely try to get as many people on beforehand and afterhand on this show with Jake so that we can all talk about all the goodies that are coming. But I guess we'll just do what we always do, Jacob, and ask what you want to see from the beta that we're coming forward. So we already know we have the confirmation of things, but what is something that you want to see?
Yeah, what do we not see at BlizzCon? Like, what else is on your list that Heroes like absolutely needs to have?
Friends
Spotlight.
list increase.
That's BattleNet wide.
Oh,
That needs
whatever.
to happen.
That's
Everybody agrees with you.
Okay,
on that.
well, if it's not going to be that, then they have to give us additional options to communicate and culture contacts, because having only 100 people there, channels are great, but they're still hidden. If we had, clans or looking for, something similar to what Diablo 3 has, where you can create these giant circles that aren't channels, but like actual circles that you can, invite people into. I think that would help.
like
that
a
would
guild kind of thing, like a clan.
Yeah. Guilds,
Clan
clans.
Chat from Warcraft 3. Bring
Yeah.
it back.
Clan chat is absolutely fantastic. And on that note, if we want to go all the way back to Warcraft 3, the technology is there for automated daily tournaments.
We don't have the
Yes.
technology. We don't have the
We
technology.
have the technology.
Nope, we
Warcraft
had the
3
technology.
came out in
Now it's gone.
2004 or 3,
Hey.
a long ass time ago, and they still run them to this day. I still tune into streams that are in automated tournaments.
We don't
It's
have
still
the
there.
technology. It's not there yet. It's not there yet.
I mean,
Warcraft 3 was also 2002, I think.
was it? Okay.
Yeah.
I was high
So-
school, and I was
I mean,
done
yeah, it
high
was
school by
like
2004.
literally-
So.
Yeah, it was like literally the start of my life. I stopped being a little kid. So I mean, it's there, and we need it so bad. I want it so bad.
In-game chat scroll, that'd be very useful.
Oh God.
Yep.
Yeah,
Game
that's
chat customizability, so it's
that's
not
up
dead
there.
center of the screen. That'd be fantastic.
A lot of people talk about hotkeys and quick casting. I mean, that's kind of just a generalized point. I would love to have a drafting mode for custom games, because in my interview with Alan Tiberia, they said, we want to open up that stuff. They want to get that map editor out. They want to allow us to create some fun stuff, but I don't expect it to see for the drop in January. But I really can't expect, going forward, if you're negative about expecting something, then it shows up, awesome, great. But if it's not there, then no skin lost. And I don't think we're going to see drafting in custom. I really don't.
Based on an interview we did at BlizzCon, it sounds like the map editor is really, really far off, if ever coming. That was probably one of the saddest things I heard at BlizzCon in our
Yeah.
conversation.
I mean, I'm all down for Pudge Wars, personally.
Yeah, right. Oh my god, I miss that so much. Oh, it was so
But
good.
yeah,
Jake
it's
doesn't know
probably a
that.
long-
No, I know what Pudge is, but so just building on the question, we always ask that, but we also ask, if you had to pick one hero that has not been confirmed from the game, from the Blizzard universe, who would it be?
I think I said Monk back when I was asked this before, and I'm still kind of holding to it,
Oh,
because
okay.
Steve and I have a special love of
But
our
Monk's,
monks.
Monk's confirmed, so give me a better one.
Is it actually confirmed? I saw the
They
game
showed-
files.
They showed
It's like
Monk at BlizzCon, if I'm not
No, they
mistaken.
did. They showed
Oh, it's so
Crusader.
Crusader.
Okay.
It's okay.
And-
Sometimes Jake plays Blizzard games.
Skeleton King, Butcher,
So
Crusader.
it's the
and
leak that
Diablo
I'm talking about. The leak.
But yes,
Yeah.
there was a leak that does have Monk files in it. Past that, I mean, there's so many characters out there that I'm not too sure I can actually pick a favorite. But I
Oh.
keep getting surprised at some of the already existing things. So I mean, anything that has been data mined, or I have no qualms about any of them really at all.
Hmm. Do you remember the monk stuff that got leaked? Did you like look at it in depth?
There
They
was
had those and everything on there too.
God, it was a while back now.
Yeah.
I do recall it was I think they had Sweeping Strike.
Yeah.
I want to say they had
They had
I don't remember any others.
It looked like a DPS kit more than anything else. So
Is that a good thing or a bad thing in your opinion? You want to be a tank?
I don't know. Like it's
We
kind of
both ran
weird.
Thanks.
Yeah, we both ran ZDPS.
Yeah.
But I think ZDPS would be like an unbelievably cool mechanic. Like just like the whole character would be a cool mechanic to put into the heroes. But I'm really iffy on the way that Blizzard is approaching melee DPS in this game. Like Illidan's not anything special, and he's kind of in a weird position.
I gotta go call up my insanity. One sec.
So yeah, I know. Sonya, well, okay, Illidan's special right now because they actually killed Nova, but that's a side thing. Sonya is like in a really strange place. Do we even have any other like melee damage dealers that aren't?
Zeratul.
Oh, Zeratul too. I don't consider him.
Thrall's
He's like
on
a
his way.
caster.
Thrall's on his way.
Yeah, Thrall is
Chen. I mean, to
Chen.
be
Yeah.
honest.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess like you can consider Chen,
And Arthas,
Arthas,
yeah.
Tyrael. Like you can consider all them. Diablo is just off in a corner crying.
Kerrigan.
Um,
Kerrigan's been seeing some play. There.
Yeah, yeah, Kerrigan too. I don't know. Like for Monk, it would be weird. It'd be weird to see how they make him into a DPS class if that's the case. I would like to see how they do it, but I feel like he should be more of the supporty role from Diablo.
I'll be curious to see what they do. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, just speaking about new characters and talking about data mining, one of the heroes that was included in the data mine was Arcturus Manx. Now, there was a tweet put out by a
Yeah.
Blizzard employee of a drawing, and he accidentally just kind of included Manx in that. We can actually see on the right side of this Manx artwork. That definitely looks like
Pants.
the Heroes of the Storm. Manx. Now I can't. This might be Miev. I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure at this. Now, of course, we've got Duckard, Kane, and
I saw that on Twitter. Duckard Kane. Yeah.
Further Herd. But I saw Manx, and I was just like, as far as I'm concerned, that's the final confirmation for Arcturus Manx here. No idea how he's gonna play, but that's
Yeah, the files are there for the leak. There was one leak of Arcturus Manx hollow decoy or hollow emitter or hollow decoy or like hollow ad. I don't know what you actually call those. If you ever played StarCraft 2,
Yeah.
like the very first mission of Raynor is just like, there's those hollow things of him.
and
I don't know
statues.
how that ties into him at all, but the file's there apparently.
It'll be just like Asmodan. It's just like you throw it out and it just talks smack, and then you just walk away. That's it.
Arrogant Nephilim.
Yeah, that's all it does. Sick.
I'm a little surprised that the taunt from Asmodan is not anything about an arrogant.
They need to fix that. They need to fix that. It's like
They'll bring it
it's
back.
the
They
biggest
gave us
bug in the
Sidestorm,
game right
they'll
now
give us
is
that.
Asmodan's quotes are just not on par with what the game should be. It's
Yeah.
They've
it's
been
poor
adding,
design.
like, patch to patch, they've added a lot of emotes, a lot of interactions, a lot of dances and taunts. I mean, it's probably in the works. It's just not a high priority.
I'm sure they.
Millhouse Mana Storm.
Ooh, Millhouse.
That'd be an interesting counter mage to
I just
Jaina.
got him in my garrison. He's now my follower in World of Warcraft.
Oh, Mechatork was
Like,
confirmed.
He was
in-
mined. He was data mined. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mechatork was data mined. And so was Gyrocopter. So gnomes are on their way, friends. If you're a gnome fan, I can't claim I am, but I know there are people that love their gnomes. We have both Gyrocopter and Mechatork, potentially Millhouse as well. So those will be our first gnomes.
It'll be fun. Like, Blizzard can do anything at this point. They've shown us so many different like map concepts. Like Sky Temple is absolutely gorgeous. It's like the very first of the new tile sets, right? We've seen Spider Queen with a new tile set, Diablo map with a new tile set. So, even going all the way back to Lost Vikings, nothing is off the table with
So
these guys.
I actually this was just like a cool thing about the Diablo map. It's actually a double tile set, and it was like really hard for them to figure out how to engineer it. I was just talking to someone, and it kind of breaks what they can normally do for a map, but they're like so dedicated to making it happen. They're just like going above and beyond to make that like heaven versus hell kind of style. And like in terms just on the discussion of maps in general, like how long you think and how bad do you want, a StarCraft map that's Zerg versus Terran, Alliance versus Horde, like
Well,
Cap Station.
Scrap Station?
Yeah. This is like, the Battle of Char. The last battles coming up in Legacy of the Void is all going to be space-based, right? As Scrap Station kind of fun stuff. But what would you do? Would you do Zerg versus Terran, Terran versus Protoss, Protoss versus Zerg? Like a three-way map has always been kind of like thrown out there time to time, but that would really have to heavily rely upon a neutral faction.
Yeah.
Or maybe, a Zelnaga temple is out there, race to it through all the Zealots or something.
Yeah, I mean, they can do it and just have like basically be a triangle map and have like the first tier would be like giants, the second tier would be knights, the third tier would be like golem, something like that, and it would just be kind of that way.
You could use a haunted mine mechanic, gate them so that you have your lanes through the bottom of the triangle, but then they open up and you race to the top.
Yeah, stuff like that. I mean, there's tons of designs that you can throw out and do. But I think in general, people are just calling for a sci-fi map. We see it pretty much every day on Reddit. Somebody has said like, "Oh, we need sci-fi." It's like everything's so fantasy. It's like, well, look at the characters. It's a fantasy game.
There's sci-fi though.
Copying well. Yeah.
I like that. I mean, orcs in space is what StarCraft was supposed to be originally. I want orcs in space. Damn it.
That was a quote from.
Well, I mean, we kind of have orcs in space. We go to like Draenor and stuff.
That was a quote.
This isn't Warcraft in space. That was Artanis, I believe, as a quote from Brood War. If you keep clicking on. Yeah. This isn't Warcraft in space. I got a techno song about it.
That's pretty. That's awesome.
I have StarCraft techno all the way from 1998.
That's actually impressive.
Yep. There's a guy called DJ Daknit that did a whole bunch of them. They're fantastic.
Nice. Good stuff.
I'm gonna look that
history
up.
lesson for you.
Well, Matthew, any final questions?
Has Bagels reverse engineered the stim packs out of the replay files yet?
As in, like, what? Did you use them?
Yeah.
Does it matter?
No, I'm just throwing out like random questions.
That's actually going to be curious if stim pack data or out of game data like that would actually permeate into a replay.
Yeah.
I could ask him, but like, I'm not going to get you an answer on this stream.
It must a little bit, right? Because we can see hero level, which isn't in the game. It's account, right? So they must put at least some.
But they have to know what the hero level is going in for talent gating purposes.
That's
I
true.
assume.
Yeah, that's true.
Yep. Bam! Countered.
That's true.
Bagels is an awesome guy, though. So, like, guys, if you find him, go follow him. He's great to talk to. He's great to play with, and he's been absolutely a gem over at Heroes Fire. So,
good.
Love my bagels.
Well, we're at our 45-minute mark, and that's usually where we cut things off. So we'll let you do your shout-outs.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I have a little bit of a voice here, and if you'd like to hear me talk about a lot of hero stuff over the weekends, typically do a lot of stuff there. So I'll be seeing you guys with Zoya on Saturday for Kings of the Storm, and I know that you're going to be unveiling a bunch of new tech. I'm going to be unveiling a bunch of new tech. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a great weekend. And of course, ESONA, Mr. CST does run that, and I'm going to be there as well. And I think I'm with Shane Gooberface on that one. So you're going to be seeing a lot of me this weekend. So hit me up, Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, FourCourtJester, and you can find me, of course, at Heroes Fire. And you can always send me a PM there. Find anything wrong with the site, please let me know, because I'd be happy to fix it.
Nice.
Matthew.
So you're going to get flooded now. It's going to be fantastic.
Take it on.
Enjoyable times. So as Jester said, Kings, ESL, I run both of those. Those are coming in NA this weekend, Saturday and Sunday, respectively. King starts at 3 p.m. and ESL starts at 2 p.m. Those are both Eastern. You can find those all over the place. They'll be here on twitch.tv/solidjake. As FourCourt said, they'll also be on his channel. There'll probably be one more stream. Not sure if Xander and... actually, I think they're doing HPL, so probably not. So check that out.
Yes. Yeah, those are
yeah, HPL is coming back too. I think WePlay is coming back possibly this weekend as well, or starting or something like that. But they're a lot later in the day. So there's a lot of esports stuff happening. Shout outs to all of them and helping the scene. And you can find me on Reddit, r/Heroes of the Storm. Check that out. And Twitter, if you ever need me immediately for anything, at CSD. I check that pretty often. So hit me up there. Thanks for watching. Always a good time.
Well, like they both said there, lots of stuff coming up this weekend. All of us are going to be working on both of the tournaments we mentioned this weekend. Kings of the Storm, Matt runs those. One, like you said, one stream here, one stream on Jester. Same deal for ESL. So it's going to be You're muted? I can't hear you. What?
No, come to mine. I'm just mouthing.
Oh,
it
come
that
to mine.
Don't
Come to
interrupt
mine,
you.
said.
But it's the subliminal messaging to the viewers.
Wonderful, wonderful. No, watch them both, guys. They're both going to be great shows. Like Jester said, he's got a bunch of new tech, a whole new upgrade on his production, and the same thing for me as well. We're both going to keep one-upping each other, and it's going to be an awesome, battle here.
Everybody wins.
Everybody wins. Everybody wins because as we one-up each other, we both raise our production value, and it's really exciting to see. So this weekend, we're going to be pulling out the souped-up engines and running our streams up here. So make sure you tune into those tournaments because Symbiote was dethroned last weekend in Kings of the Storm. So I assume they're playing this week to defend their title, and this is the last weekly for Kings of the Storm, as the 20th is going to be a monthly. It's going to be a big weekend for heroes. Like we have in the comments here, Fax is saying multi-Twitch is OP. Pop open that multi-Twitch and listen
just
there.
start tweeting those instead of our individual.
We should, actually.
That's what I started doing that.
Yeah.
You can't lose that.
Yeah.
Gentlemen's agreement. We'll just multi-Twitch it every time.
I agree. Sounds good. Sounds good.
Awesome.
Jester, thank you very much for coming on and for everything you do for the Heroes community.
Thank you so much, sir.
Matthew, it's always a pleasure.
Oh, thanks. I love you too.
That does it for Clairvoyance. And stay tuned. I'll be streaming in just a few if you want to watch me be bad at Heroes of the Storm. We'll be.
Good luck, sir.
That's going to do it for us, guys. Peace.